Acknowledged Joe formally. So we have this framed certificate of appreciation for Joe. I'm going to hand it to him and then I'll read what it has to say because I have a copy of it. It's a certificate of appreciation, Joseph Mazzei. Your creation and ongoing management of our innovative and dedicated website has enabled your classmates to remain connected, informed, and enlightened. Thank you for your commitment, energy, and good humor. Your efforts are both highly valued and greatly appreciated.
We're all a little bit too old to get up in the house.
We also have for Joe Chris $100 bill, which we're going to just let him pass on to whatever charity he would like to pass it on to.
Yes. Well, get up. They ask you to get up and have something to say, and then they choke you with emotion. I guess on an emotional note, get to that later. I have to admit, I started something and it happened 10 years ago, and I need the help of a couple of ladies who were at the 50th reunion, because one said to the other on the way out, wouldn't it be great if we could keep in touch? Anybody remember saying that to somebody else? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it was just happened that I was managing a website at that time for another organization, and at the same time, the internet service provider that we were using was offering a complimentary website service to any nonprofits. And so I thought, upon hearing that, I said, well, maybe this can be done. And so it got started, and it kind of grew thanks to all of you. None of what's been done is possible without your input. I'm just the medium, right? As a matter of fact, I've been sharing with some people who've come up and spoken to me. I was hoping that none of you would be saying, well, who died and left him in charge? But it was, I decided, well, it's something I could do. I'd give it a try, and it's worked out well. As a matter of fact, it's worked out surprisingly well for this particular reunion, because another thing that, hasn't been credited to Marion, but between her, Fred Merck, and I, we found a lot of people, classmates, who we had not found for the past 50 years. And as a matter of fact, I won't mention his name, but we found somebody who didn't want to be found. and that in itself represents one of the dangers of the internet, which I try to guard. And that is, there's a lot of information out there, and thanks to Google, and I'm not knocking them, they've done a certainly outstanding job in helping people find people. But thanks to them, our names can come up in various ways. And one of them is through our website. There was a time that you would just about cry and scream and beg to get your website onto Google. Now, it's almost the other way around. How many of you are aware that we also have a Facebook page? Now, that has gotten a little dicey because I went to visit our website, our Facebook page a while back, and I found probably 50 or 60 people who have nothing to do with our class who were on. And you might recall that I went into this thing about, okay, we are now going to be in the so-called secret stage. In other words, you know, you had to come to me in order to be a friend on our website, because there are a lot of people who are coming onto the website, and again, we've got a website, and that makes you prone to anybody who wants to sell you something or get some information about you. So I sent an email out about the fact that we had gone secret, and that came back, well, not in the way I intended it to be. What it was for our protection, but it was construed as maybe us being kind of snobbish. And we still have a Facebook presence, and I would like to have your input, you know, either just shoot me an email and so forth with suggestions as to how we can keep everybody informed, but also keep everybody protected. I'll give you just one example. My daughter-in-law just lives on the internet, and she's putting all kinds of things on Facebook, and she's in a management position, and occasionally she has on Facebook some of the things that annoys her about her job. Well, yeah, you all have been around the block. And so, you know, if I'm reading it, it could be one of her superiors is also reading it. This is not good for job security. But at any rate, that's just an example of how twisted things could get. But at any rate, that's enough about that. The other thing, and pardon me for getting a little mushy, is, well, why am I doing this? And as my memory goes back to 60 years past, we all basically grew up together. Sure, many of us went off to college, and we have college classmates and roommates who we're still friendly with today, but we kind of met them in a mature sense. At least I hope we did. The other thing is that we all kind of grew up together. We went to different elementary schools, but we all shared one way or another in the course of 2 or 3 years at the junior high school, not to mention 3 or 4 more at the high school. We all have shared with each other on one occasion or the other. And we all ended up meaning something to each other. We grew up that way. And I think it was a remarkable time to have lived in Belmont and have had the experience that brought us all back here today. And, you know, I think that's wonderful. And again, I thank the committee for the outstanding job for this particular event. And just by the fact that you're all here today, I'm glad I had a small part in it. And I do mean small part, because, again, I'm just the messenger. If I don't get something to share, then we don't get anything. If I do get something to share, then out it goes. So with that, I know we have some who are not, you know, using computers or on the internet and so forth, and so you miss a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about right now. And for those of you who might be interested, and excuse me, and I've talked with some of you, there are senior centers available who will provide internet courses. Your local libraries will probably do the same thing. You say, well, that's fine, but I don't have an email address. There are, well, Google's one of them, Gmail. You can get an email address even though you don't have a computer at home. And you can go to the library and get your email once you let us all know you have an email address. And so you're in business. So fine, you don't have the computer at home, but you still can keep in touch. And that's the whole thing, the whole idea, keeping in touch. I guess the only other thing I would say, we talked about Facebook, we talked about the website. I do want to remind you again that I'd appreciate your input as to what we can do from here, what you would like to see. If it's within the realm of the software I'm using and the website that's providing me the service, us the service, we'll do it. And on a more somber note, we have a memorial list that is going to be over on the table for any of you who would want to take that along. The same information is on our website. But I guess that's about it. And thank you. Oh, one other thing.
Your name is Columbo?
Good point. This means a lot because you all wanted to do something for me back in the 55th, for the 55th. And I said at that time, well, just go ahead and donate it to breast cancer. One of our daughter-in-laws was just diagnosed with breast cancer, and she's undergoing chemo now. So that's where this is going.